So the 5 steps to creating a professional-looking Facebook Live show. Step number 1 is to prepare. Now you want to prepare what you're actually going to do throughout the show. So in a lot of cases, even though you're doing a Facebook Live show, and a lot of times you're creating content or you're delivering value, you still want to have an offer, and there needs to be some kind of a hook attached to your show. There's some other pieces. You want to have a show flow. Any handouts, you want to make those available, and you definitely want to have a call to action, because even though you may not be selling something, you still want to have a call to action. You still want people to connect with you. Maybe you're going to offer them something free, so you need to know what that is. So in the preparation for your show, you always want to start with the end in mind. So what is your offer going to be? What's the big deliver? What's the big promise that they're going to get from watching the show, this particular episode? What do you promise the audience, that they're going to receive when they watch the show? You also want to let them know who the show is for. So you need to identify them. Typically, at the beginning of the show, in my show introduction, I make it very clear this show is for entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers. So if you fall into that category, then this show is going to be for you. So if you don't fall into that category, then there's a chance that you're not going to really get the kind of value that you want out of this show, because I've geared it towards reaching that audience and helping them grow their business by strategies, entrepreneurs' journeys, and coaching advice and other things like that. So if you don't fall into sort of that demographic of entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers, then there's a good chance that this show is not going to be for you. So you want to identify them right up front, so people don't get too far into the show and they realize that, why am I even watching this show? It's not for me anyway. So, it just helps. It's better to have a smaller number of people, but a very targeted number of people watching your show. It's great to have a lot of people on your show live, but the more important thing is the reach of your show after it's actually aired. It's great for engagement, having people on. You can engage with the people. You can answer some questions throughout the actual live show. But really, it's the engagement you're going to get, or it's the purpose of my show, for example, is to repurpose a lot of the content so that I can get future engagement by turning it into clips and turning it into blogs and social content, and directing people to the website, which potentially is going to end up selling them on some products or services. So my desired outcome for every single show is the desired outcome of my target audience is they want freedom, they want to accelerate their authority, they want more leads, they want to do more business. So this show is going to help them through strategies and through stories to actually help them achieve that. So throughout the show, and a lot of times when I'm actually doing these shows without a guest, typically I'll teach something and I break it down into a number of steps. So today it's the 5 steps to creating a professional looking show. So as I mentioned, the first thing is prepare your offer, your show flow, which is basically knowing how long you're going to spend on each topic. So how long is it going to take for your intro? How long is it going to take to introduce your guest? How long are you going to take per question? How long do you assign per question? When are you going to change graphics in and out? I've done this now so that I'm not changing a lot of graphics, because I'm actually the one running the show. So it's very difficult to actually to be the producer and be the host at the same time. So I just typically I'll stick to keeping whatever content is on the screen, keeping it on there throughout the duration of the show if I'm just on here by myself and I don't have anyone else producing it. So that's the step number 1, prepare. So getting your offer, knowing what your offer is, what's the big deliver, the big promise to your ideal target market or your audience, having a call to action at the end, which is contact me for more information, go to my webpage to download the free gift, whatever that is. You want to make sure that you have that right at the very beginning before you get too far in the planning of your show. So I just want to welcome June McDougall. She just joined us. And if you have any questions about any of the content that I'm talking about, just definitely leave it in the Facebook chat. And I'll try to get through to it throughout the show. If I can't, I'll definitely answer it after the show in the Facebook comments. So if you're just joining us, you're watching the John A. McCabe Show, where it's all about accelerating your authority in your business or field of expertise. And we do that by helping entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed on any device, anywhere, anytime, in as little as 15 hours, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now today I'm sharing with you the 24 tips to improving your Facebook Live experience for you and your guests, and 5 steps to creating a professional Facebook Live show and a solution where you can get a professional live show with nothing more than a computer, a webcam, and a mic. So if you have any questions, just type them in the chat, and I'll definitely get through them at throughout the show. Now the second step is producing your show. So that's actually creating the show, understanding, having a variety of different elements in there, how to present your show. So, you're going to want to have a studio of some kind, or you're going to use a green screen, virtual sets, real sets. Now I have 4 real sets, and I have a variety of virtual sets, which I run through because I'm in front of a green screen. So this set here is actually a virtual set. I have 4 actual sets. I have a library set, I have a news anchor set, I have, the green screen set, and then the other set is a corner sort of a seating area where you can do a one-on-one interview. So what is your studio going to be? What are you going to have for overlay for different effects for your show? Are you going to have things at the bottom of the screen? You notice it says the Authority Accelerator Coach. That's called a bottom third. Are you going to have those things? Are they going to be coming in and out during the show? Or are you just going to keep one up there at all times? Are you going to have any different images? You'll notice that I have 2 different images on my show. I have the TV screen over here that has the big image on it, and as well as I have the image down below in front of the podium. So those are just images that I can actually change in and out if I wanted to, but I just leave them because it's too complicated while I'm actually hosting the show and trying to run this at the same time. Am I going to have any PowerPoints, any videos that Skype in? Typically, I'm using the TV here. If I'm running PowerPoint, you'll see the PowerPoint, or if I want to bring a website up on screen, it's coming up on the TV. Anytime I Skype in a guest, it's on the TV. If somebody comes in live to the studio, they're sitting beside me here inside the studio. So what effects are you going to sort of have to overlay into your Facebook Live when you're doing this? Now you'll notice that there's a lot of people that are doing Facebook Live. They're typically just sitting in front of their camera, they're holding their camera up, or they're just sitting in front of a webcam. I know Andy Falco, he has a one main set that he's using right now. I know he probably has a couple other sets, he can talk about that, but I see him, he's using a one main set, and he overlays some graphics, and he has things running in and out. So he's very familiar with what it takes to actually run this and be a host at the same time. It gets somewhat complicated, but if somebody else is running it for you, then they can have things moving in and out on a regular basis. It's much easier when somebody's doing that for you. So that's a little bit about the overlay effects. Some of the elements of the show. One of the biggest ones is the show flow. That's when that's the timing of the show, and typically when I have a guest on, I'm very good at the timing. I know how many questions I need to ask, and typically I have extra questions lined up in case the person isn't they're short answer people and they're giving very short answers. Then there's times when people are long-winded and I sort of have to cut them off and go to the next segment. And what I use to break the segments is, you'll notice that I keep introducing myself or keep introducing my guests. Typically after every 5 to 10 minutes is I'm reintroducing the segment, the show, or the guests. Now that's done for a couple of reasons. One of the biggest reasons is a clear-cut editing area for my for my outsourcers to be able to take the video, and they know whenever I start that introduction that is a new segment that they're actually going to clip. So typically each show will have anywhere from 4 to 6 different segments because I reintroduce the show or reintroduce the guests 4 to 6 different times. So that's important. That's part of the show flow. Having the lights, other elements include the lights, the equipment, the stream, the set, your logo, your opening animation, lower thirds, graphic elements. Or am I going to use a keynote or PowerPoint? Do I have pre-recorded things? Sometimes I have pre-recorded, typically what I'll do is in the morning, I'll actually pre-record the intro and pre-record the outro. It just makes it a lot easier when you're running your own show versus keep changing in and out. And it just makes it easier, again, for the outsourcers when it comes to editing, rather than just have one full length. I'm trying to cut it up into as many segments as possible just to make it easier for my outsourcers to create very distinctive clips that I can then repurpose and use in the future. The next thing, another element, is the offer or call to action. Like I said, typically when you're doing a show, you want to have an offer or call to action because the show is really your opportunity to share your message. So you want to turn ideas into the videos or the shows. You want to use it for launching books or education or doing giveaways. You use it for content that you can distribute later, which is what I'm using it for. The Authority Acceleration Blueprint is I use this and I create a lot of content from this, and it's really done to increase engagement and to drive people to the website where I'll sell them on products or services, or get them to engage with me through the website. And you can use it for turning the videos into a training course or driving traffic to sales events or online workshops, that sort of thing.